Good morning, everybody, on this cold winter morning. We really do appreciate that you've taken the time out to dial in today. Now, we've spoken about business planning about a year ago, and we discussed building blocks for your business. So, those building blocks are your vision and your mission and your values, and then also objectives by which you measure your business. But having all these important building blocks means absolutely nothing if you don't measure your actions and your progress against it every so now and then. So today, I want to take you back to the basics very briefly and then help you to put checks in place by which you can know how your business is faring. So firstly, when writing a plan for your business, you want to know where you are going. Now, that is where the vision and the mission and the values and objectives comes in. Now, then you want to determine where you are right now. I'll explain that's where the checks comes in, and it will help you to pinpoint what is going well in the business and where do you need to focus to eliminate pain points that you're experiencing at this stage. From knowing where you are right now, you can make good decisions to deciding on where you want to go or where you are going so that you can get to that utopia, the paradise of the plumbing industry. Now, remember that your plan must be workable and get your entire team engaged and working towards the same end. Now, last year's presentation on lag and lead measures, I explained to you how to achieve those wildly important goals. And that's when we discussed the vision and the mission and the values and objectives. You can always refer back to that recording on the IOPSA YouTube channel. And the date of that recording is 13 June 2022. Now, as I mentioned earlier, today's mission is to establish effective checks that you can build into your monthly business processes that will assist you in knowing how your business is faring and to make good decisions going forward that will take you to where you want to go in your business. Now, if you enjoy any form of sport, you'll understand benchmarking. We constantly check our favorite team against the competition, right? And we check on how they did last year and who won last year and who was second. And then we want to make sure that, we're focusing on how are they, what's the score at the moment? And then we want to know that our team is winning. And we know that when we look at the scoreboard. Now, for business, it is practically the same thing. However, our scoring might not always be black numbers on white paper as we would hope for. And so we need to know what we need to look at and what we need to do to compare in order to find the important information that we need. That means we need to go back to the plan. We need to go back to that initial growth plan or business plan that you've set up, where you've written down vision and mission and values and objectives. And then you have to ask yourself when you're reading your business plan again, if you are living up to the vision and the mission that you have for your business. Now, it's not rocket science. You are doing it or you're not there yet. Just by doing that, by looking at it again, by reading it again and measuring your own actions right now and your team's performance right now against your vision and your mission, you should be able to recall what you had in mind when you first wrote that vision and mission. Sometimes it's because of certain business values that has not been instilled in you or your team's daily dealings. Then the conclusion is easy. it's time to revisit the vision and the mission and values that you have set aside as the holy grail by which you want to do business and the direction of where you want your business to go. Now, objectives again are those items that you have listed that you want to measure monthly, quarterly, or annually. Objectives can be measured by looking at employee performance, customer reactions and trends, and your financial state of your business. Now, just to refresh your memory, here's a table of potential measurements that can be your objectives. Now, for each of these items on the list, you'll see that there are 2 items per category. For example, customers being a category for which we want to measure customer satisfaction and then also market share. Now, again, this is just an example. You can use it as it is and you'll be well on your track, or you can change it to suit your unique objectives that you want to measure in order for you as the business owner to know how your business is doing. Remember that we measure consistently so that we can know where we are right now in order to make good decisions that will take us to where we want to go. So on your objective column, you will find, argument's sake, say there's we know we're on track if we measure customer satisfaction with a survey and we're getting a positive feedback of 70% or higher. That could be a positive feedback in terms of, yes, we're very happy, or it could also be actually getting a feedback of 70% and higher. So that would be your objective, and you decide on what is the target that you are aiming for. So let's quickly revisit vision statement. You want to answer these 4 questions when you write your vision statement. How good do you want your business to be? What are you providing, and which customers are you providing for, and what is the location of your business? Now, when you did this the first time around, it might have still be a little new and awkward. Maybe it was a little hard to put your vision into words. Luckily, nothing of this is cast in stone. So now is a brilliant time to reword your vision statement if you think it is necessary, if you want to make some changes to it. Otherwise, I have found that just reading that vision statement again really just reminds me of what my initial thoughts and my plan was for my business. And it helps a lot to revisit that vision statement. So first question, how good do you want your business to be? Yeah, you want to have a specific measuring point. Now you can say I want to be the best, but it might not be as easy to measure that. But you can be, argument's sake, say the number 1 choice in the market in your demographic, and that you can measure with a customer survey. Then the second question, what are you providing? Now it's easy to say, we're providing plumbing services, but that could be rather broad. So you want to get more specific on what you are providing. Remember that you are solving someone's problem. It could be a homeowner or a real estate agent or a retail business. What specific service or product are you delivering? And that it takes us to which customers or which market are we serving? And that is to look into who is the actual customer. Now, that can change very quickly. You might find that when you started off your business, you were really just taking in any plumbing job that comes along. And as you carried on, you learned that there's a bigger need or a demand for a certain kind of service, maybe for the restaurant industry, for instance. And now you are becoming a specialist in serving the restaurant owner. And that now becomes your customer. Now, I want to urge you and motivate you to look further than the customers that you are servicing right now. There might be opportunities coming up due to changes in political and economical changes. Now, for example, people are now more focused on moving to off-grid options out there. That might include plumbing solutions as well. You never know. So while they're moving away from the standard source of electricity, the customer might also want to move away from standard sources of water supply as well. So you have to open up your mind a little bit and think about what customer is out there that you could potentially, with the services that you are specializing in, that you can service that market as well. And then the last question about location of your business is the physical location. So you're thinking, okay, I'm in a radius of 50 kilometers or 100 kilometers, I can service customers. And now you have to give it a name. So it's either Gauteng, or it's Northern Cape, or it's the Northwest area, or it's a national service you're supplying, or it's the whole of South Africa. You need to give it a name. Just remember, having said that, you cannot be everything to everybody. So try to pin specifics down as much as you can. That will help you to be and stay focused on your specific target market. Now, let's visit mission quickly. Your mission answers the question of why your business or your organization even exists. It's the contribution you want to make to your customers' lives. Now, your mission statement is to give guidance internally to your team and your staff, and also to your suppliers and other business partners, helping them to measure their own actions against. Now, example of Google is probably one of the best examples, is to organize the world's information and make it universally accessible and useful. Now, you have probably written down your mission statement and you completed the sentence, helping our customers. Now, the example I used back then was helping our customers to focus on making a living by preventing unnecessary blockage and bad scenarios with naughty drains. The next point is to revisit the company values. It's the standard of behavior by which you want your team to operate. Now, I'm not going to go through it again, but when you revisit your growth plan, take another look at the various values and ask yourself truthfully if you and your team are indeed keeping to the values you have picked out. There might also be one or two you want to add to the list, or perhaps replace it with a more appropriate value. Now, here's the first 9, and there's another 9, and I'll give you 2 seconds just to quickly scan through it. Remember that this presentation is recorded, so you can always pause and write it down when you go through it again, and pick out the 3 to about 7 values that you find is most appropriate to your business. 7 could be a lot. I would almost want to say try 3 or 5. Make it an odd number. For some reason, it's just easier to remember. Now, remember that we started looking at where we are right now. We had to face the facts, point out the pain points, and then we had to write down possible outcomes of what we would like these areas of business to look like. Now, this is where the tire hits the road. Up until now, we have revisited the initial plan and doing a mental check against what we said we wanted to do and what we have actually accomplished. Now, it's all good and well. They say talk is cheap. So now you need to put your money where your mouth is. So let's get practical. You can potentially set up a tick list of checks you want to do monthly that would help you stay on top of your goals and commitments. Now, your tick list should include at least 5 items: your financial checks, inventory checks, HR checks, marketing checks, and customer checks. You can add whatever other checks you deem necessary. It might be something to do with suppliers or market trends, maybe, or perhaps you want to add some project-related checks. So let's quickly go through it. Financial checks. In order for you to make any kind of decision for your business, you must know what is your financial state. Therefore, you need to make sure that you keep your financial records up to date. I know this is a difficult one for any small business because we're not necessarily accountants. So it's very hard for us to understand, first of all, how important it is. And secondly, how do we do this? So you have to understand one thing that's rather important. For you to be able to know where your business is, how you are doing in your business. Is your business healthy or not? One of the best and most and easiest ways to check it is via your financials and your financial statements and the state of your affairs. And if you are thinking of bringing in an investor, or you want to take out a loan with a bank, or you want to sell the business, any of that, you're going to need financial statements. Now, it's worth spending some money to get a good accountant to help you with this. This is a specialized field. Like, you are the specialist, as you are the plumber, a plumbing specialist, as finding a financial specialist that can help you with this. It's not necessarily very expensive. You can find someone that would understand. There's lots of them out there, accountants who really understand small business, and they are not that expensive. Now, when you start looking at a good accountant, what does that look like? It will be somebody who can help you with capturing your monthly expenses and invoicing. Maybe invoicing is something you do. You can write out an invoice, you create it on Excel or whatever form you use, but then they must also capture that information on the financial system. So you want income and expense captured on your financial system. Then that accountant must be able to give you financial statements on a monthly basis. That's a profit and loss statement, a balance sheet, a cash flow statement. And from there, you're going to find valuable information once you can read it. Now, monthly management accounts is also rather important. So you want to have some form of analysis or scenarios coming and taken from your financial information that will actually help you with decision making. And then obviously you want your financial accountant to help you with annual statutory returns. That's submitting financial statements to CIPC and SARS. Now, having these checks in place means you have a lag measure that allows you to effectively look back on the past month or months or year and make a conclusion of what went wrong and what went right. Now, you can make good decisions for the month ahead when you look at those information. Look, as I mentioned in the past and on the previous presentations on business planning, looking at financials is a lag measure. So we want to make good decisions so that we can make lead measures. We can make those good decisions going forward. One very important thing I must mention on this topic. It is very important for you to have timely feedback from your accountant. Getting this feedback late will mean that your decision making will be late as well. It could create other issues or make you effectively late in the market or industry. You could have stopped unnecessary bleeding of funds if you knew about a big issue earlier. Now, because you learned about the problem late or weeks after the event, you have continued to spend unnecessary money. Inventory checks. There's many ways of dealing with stock or inventory. In your industry, you might not necessarily keep large numbers of material or stock items, yet you might be constantly buying consumable goods. Doing a monthly check on your consumable levels, you might see the need to increase or even decrease the times or quantity of items purchased on a monthly basis. It might seem like a ridiculous waste of time and energy, but having a monthly check in place, you can reduce wasted time, for instance, for waiting for stock from your supplier, or wasted money due to not using economies of scale. Now, if you don't know what economies of scale is, it's when you pay less per item because you are buying in bulk. In other words, the more you buy at a given time, the less you are paying per item. Bringing stock checks into your monthly routine could very well also increase your quality of service. So it's all in all good. Human resource checks. Now, you can classify anything human or team related there. You get timesheets, productivity, team spirit, performance reviews, employee satisfaction, staff competency, staff requirements, all of that you can measure. Remember that your employees are representing you in the market. They need to be on top of things, fully understand your vision and mission and values, and they need to live by it generously. Doing a monthly or quarterly check on any and all of these items on the list will help you keep your business on track with your goals and vision. Now, there are many ways of doing these HR checks. Google is your friend. You will find a solution on the net that will suit your liking. So marketing checks has got to do with staying ahead in terms of your communication to your customers and clients. Now, you need to be sure that whatever message is going out on social media or any other marketing tool you are using, it's updated, speaks of the current specials you are running, if you are running any, and that there are no confusion of what it is that you do and whose problem you are solving. Remember that your marketing comms is also part of the experience you are selling. And it should not be just a, hi, I can fix your block drain. Speak to the customer. Let them find you easily and effectively, and let them know your focus is on their plumbing issues and that you can solve bigger problems for them than just a block drain. You can keep the peace in the house because you will make sure there are hot water, unblocked drains, neat and functioning water pipes, etc., things like that. Now, you need to constantly check on the mood meter of your customers, making sure that you are still offering services above the customer's expectations. Now, it might sound like a really hard task to achieve, delivering above expectation. But the good news is that it can actually be easy nowadays to deliver services above expectation. You see, service delivery has declined overall tremendously. And it really just means you need to stay customer focused and continuously ask yourself these questions. What problem am I solving for my customer? And what experience am I selling? You need to be a step better than the industry norm, and that will earn you the badge for service delivery above expectation. Just remember that it will require a mapped out process and continuous communication to your team to keep up the good work so you can stay on top of your industry. So how again do we check the customer expectation and feedback on service delivery? Well, you create a 2 or 3 question survey and make it part of your sales and service delivery process. Once you and your team are in the habit of asking those questions or sending it via WhatsApp or email or what other way you can think of that you want to share with share your survey with your customers, it will become part of your daily routine. Then you just need to check those feedback regularly or monthly, if you may, to make sure your customers are still happy with you. Now, I want to encourage you to go back to previous recordings on the IOPSA YouTube channel and take just one step to make your business more productive, profitable, and sustainable. You will be very glad you did. Are there any questions?
The currently on any questions?
Okay.
Thank you very much for joining us this morning. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us. Is there any last minute words you'd like to add, Lynn?
No, I'm good. I think I said what I needed to say today. Is lots of information again. I just hope it was insightful and reminding them of going back to the business plan and just revisit the values and the mission and the vision.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us